Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that's constantly pulling us in different directions, it's easy to lose ourselves. We're told to chase validation, to meet expectations, to answer to the noise around us. But I want to remind you today that the most powerful thing you can do in life is not to conform, not to shout the loudest, and not to keep up with the chaos. It's to focus on yourself. And when you do, silence doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean doing nothing. Silence in this context means tuning out the distractions, letting go of the outside world, and turning your attention inward. It's about knowing who you are, understanding your worth, and nurturing your growth. It's about listening to that voice inside you, the one that's authentic, the one that knows your true potential. When you focus on yourself, you stop trying to please everyone around you. You stop trying to please everyone around you and you pledge yourself. You stop seeking approval from people who don't know your journey, your struggles, your dreams. And this is where the power lies. You begin to build a life based on your own truths, your own beliefs, your own choices. I know the world tells us to do more, to be more, but I'm here to tell you that the most beautiful thing you can be is yourself. Because when you silence the noise around you and focus on your own growth, you can become the best version of yourself. Not for anyone else, but for you. It's okay to step back. It's okay to pause. Take a moment to breathe, reflect, and heal. In this silence, you'll discover strength. You'll realize that your inner world has the power to transform your outer world. The noise will always be there, but the strength you find in stillness is what will carry you forward. Remember this, when you focus on yourself and stay silent, you don't miss out. You align with your purpose. You embrace your flaws, you recognize your strengths, and you walk your own path with courage and conviction. So today I challenge you, let go of the constant pressure to be heard. The world is loud enough. Instead, focus on becoming the person you were always meant to be. And when you do, trust that your silence will speak volumes. Embracing silence as a tool for self-discovery is an invitation to retreat from the chaos of the world and tune into the whispers of your own heart. It's about finding space in a world that's constantly in motion, a world where everyone seems to be shouting for attention, for recognition, and for acknowledgement. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It's the presence of clarity, the ability to hear your thoughts, and more importantly, the ability to hear your true self beneath the layers of external noise. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, we often forget how essential it is to disconnect. We live in a culture that encourages constant doing, constant striving, and constant moving. We're expected to always be productive, to always be in motion, and to always be available for others. But amidst all of this, how can we hear ourselves? How can we connect with our inner voice when the world is speaking so loudly around us? The truth is, we can't. Not unless we intentionally create moments of silence in our lives. Silence isn't just about the absence of sound. It's about the absence of distractions. It's about carving out moments in your day to reflect, to pause, and to check in with yourself. The world around you may be full of noise, but silence gives you the space to filter through that noise and find what truly matters. It allows you to hear your own thoughts, to listen to the deepest desires and fears that reside within you. And it is in this stillness, in this silence, that we begin to discover who we really are. It's easy to get lost in the opinions of others. We live in a world where everyone has something to say, where everyone has an opinion on how we should live our lives, what we should do, and who we should be. The constant feedback from social media, family, friends, and even strangers can create a distortion in how we see ourselves. We start to measure our worth based on the judgments and expectations of others, and in doing so, we lose sight of our true selves. But true silence allows us to disconnect from these external voices and reconnect with our internal compass. When we embrace silence, we give ourselves permission to stop trying to meet the expectations placed upon us. We give ourselves the gift of self-awareness and self-acceptance. Instead of constantly looking outward for validation, we turn inward to find our worth. Silence allows us to separate ourselves from the noise and to listen to the thoughts, the feelings, and the intuition that come from within. It is in this quiet space that we can hear our own truths. These truths may have been buried under years of conditioning, of trying to fit in, or of following paths that were not truly ours to walk. But in silence, these truths resurface, and we begin to realize that we have always known who we are deep down. Silence, in this sense, becomes a powerful tool for self-discovery. It invites us to ask the difficult questions. Who am I really? What do I want in life? What do I value? What makes me happy? What fears have been holding me back? These questions, though uncomfortable at times, are the gateways to understanding ourselves at a deeper level. And it is only through silence, through the space to truly listen, that we can answer these questions with honesty. But silence isn't just about reflection, it's about presence. When we embrace silence, we are fully present in the moment. We stop rushing through life, ticking off boxes on a never-ending to-do list. We stop worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Instead, we allow ourselves to be present with ourselves, with our feelings, and with our thoughts. We stop numbing ourselves with distractions, whether that's technology, work, or even relationships, and allow ourselves to simply be. In this space, we begin to develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. We notice the small things about ourselves, the way we react to certain situations, the thoughts that arise in our minds, the patterns that shape our behavior. It's in silence that we begin to understand why we do what we do and why we feel what we feel. Self-discovery is not an overnight process. It takes time, patience, and commitment. But silence provides the fertile ground in which this process can unfold. It's not about rushing to find answers. It's about allowing the answers to come when they are ready. Silence allows us to cultivate this patience, this willingness to wait for the truth to emerge. When we create space for stillness, we allow ourselves to move at our own pace, to honor our own journey, and to trust that the answers will come in their own time. There is a beauty in embracing silence that goes beyond just the act of stopping. It's a reminder that we don't have to constantly perform, constantly produce, or constantly be on the go. Silence teaches us that it's okay to simply be. It reminds us that we are worthy, not because of what we do, but because of who we are. And in this space, we begin to discover our own value. It's in the quiet moments that we begin to appreciate ourselves, not for our achievements or our accolades, but for our existence, for our uniqueness, for the person we are becoming. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to forget that silence is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. When we embrace silence, we allow ourselves to reconnect with the peace that resides within us. We give ourselves permission to rest, to heal, and to restore our energy. It's in these moments of quiet that we can find the strength to keep going, the clarity to make better decisions, and the confidence to trust ourselves. Silence also has a transformative power. When we embrace it as a tool for self-discovery, we begin to shed the layers of fear, self-doubt, and insecurity that have been built up over time. We begin to break free from the stories we've been told about ourselves. The stories that say we're not enough, not capable, or not worthy. Silence helps us rewrite these stories, helping us step into the truth of who we are. It empowers us to let go of limiting beliefs and to embrace the potential within us. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires commitment and courage. It requires the willingness to sit with discomfort, to face the truths we've been avoiding, and to trust that we are worthy of our own love and acceptance. The journey of self-discovery through silence is not always easy. There will be moments when the stillness is overwhelming, when the truth that surfaces is painful, and when the fear of facing ourselves feels paralyzing. paralyzing. But even in these moments, silence is a gift. It's a gift that allows us to heal, to grow, and to become more of who we are meant to be. When we embrace silence, we also learn to trust our intuition. We begin to recognize the wisdom that resides within us. In the noise of everyday life, it's easy to lose touch with this inner wisdom, to second guess ourselves and to rely on external advice and opinions. But when we silence the outside world, we create space for our own inner voice to be heard. We begin to trust that we already know what's best for us, even if we don't have all the answers. This trust in ourselves is a powerful force. It gives us the confidence to make decisions that align with our values, our purpose, and our true desires. Silence also teaches us the art of patience. In a world that values speed and instant gratification, silence requires us to slow down. It teaches us that not everything has to be rushed. It teaches us that answers come in their own time and that sometimes the best thing we can do is wait. In a culture that's always pushing us to do more, silence invites us to do less, to be still, and to trust that everything will unfold when it's meant to. In this waiting, we learn to be patient with ourselves and with the process of self-discovery. We let go of the pressure to have everything figured out, and we allow ourselves to enjoy the journey, no matter how long it takes.
In a world that often seems obsessed with external validation, focusing on your own growth and well-being becomes a radical act. We live in a society where the measure of our worth is often determined by how others perceive us, by the likes on a social media post, by the approval of our peers, by the recognition we receive for our achievement. This constant need for validation can be exhausting, leaving us feeling as though we are constantly trying to meet the expectations of others rather than nurturing our own unique paths. The truth is, seeking approval from others is an endless pursuit. No matter how many people applaud your efforts or how many awards you receive, the satisfaction that comes from external validation is fleeting. It's a temporary high, a momentary affirmation that quickly fades. And yet we continue to seek it because we are told that our value lies in how we are seen by the world. But when we rely on others' perceptions to define our worth, we give up control over our own sense of self. We allow ourselves to be shaped by the opinions and judgments of those around us instead of staying grounded in our own truth. When we stop seeking external validation and turn our attention inward, something powerful begins to happen. We start to reclaim our autonomy. We begin to recognize that our worth is not dependent on what others think of us, but on who we are at our core. This shift allows us to focus on what truly matters to us, our dreams, our values, and our aspirations, rather than getting lost in a sea of external expectations. Focusing on our own growth means making the decision to prioritize ourselves over the noise of the world. It means acknowledging that our journey is ours to navigate, and we don't need permission or approval to take the steps that are right for us. The process of self-growth requires us to silence the constant chatter around us and listen to our inner voice. It requires us to reflect on what we truly want in life and to move forward with courage, even when it means stepping outside the norms or defying expectations. By focusing on our own growth, we give ourselves permission to evolve. We stop comparing ourselves to others and instead celebrate our individual journeys. This isn't about rejecting other people or ignoring their input. Rather, it's about recognizing that the opinions of others should not dictate the course of our lives. We begin to understand that growth is a deeply personal process, and it often requires us to chart a path that is unique to us. The more we embrace this understanding, the more we can begin to move confidently in our own direction. This shift also allows us to become more resilient. When we stop seeking external validation, we stop depending on others to fill the void within us. We start to recognize that the only approval we need is our own. This creates a sense of internal stability that can't be shaken by the whims of others. We build a stronger sense of self, grounded in our values and our beliefs, rather than in the fluctuating opinions of the world around us. This inner strength allows us to face challenges with greater confidence and perseverance because we no longer fear judgment or rejection. We know that our worth is not defined by these external factors. The decision to stop seeking external validation and focus on our own growth also helps us develop a deeper sense of authenticity. When we stop trying to please others or live up to their expectations, we begin to embrace who we truly are. We allow ourselves to show up in the world as our most authentic selves, free from the need to fit into a mold that doesn't align with our values. This authenticity is magnetic. It draws people to us who resonate with who we are at our core rather than who we pretend to be. And when we live authentically, we feel a sense of peace that comes from knowing we're living in alignment with our true selves. Another powerful aspect of focusing on our own growth is that it allows us to take responsibility for our own happiness. When we rely on others for validation, we place our happiness in their hands. We expect them to fill the gaps in our self-worth, to make us feel important, seen, or loved. But no one else can truly do that for us. True happiness comes from within. It's the result of loving and accepting ourselves, flaws and all. It's the outcome of taking ownership of our own journey and learning to find fulfillment within instead of constantly looking outward for it. By focusing on ourselves and stopping the cycle of seeking validation, we free ourselves from the pressure to conform. We allow ourselves the space to experiment, to fail, and to grow without fear of judgment. We realize that failure is not a reflection of our worth, but a necessary part of the process of growth. We learn that it's okay to make mistakes, as they are often the stepping stones to greater self-awareness and self-improvement. This understanding enables us to approach life with greater compassion for ourselves and others, knowing that everyone is on their own unique path. In essence, focusing on our own growth means becoming our own source of validation. It means learning to appreciate ourselves for who we are, not for what we do or what others think of us. This shift is not easy, and it often requires unlearning years of conditioning that told us our value lies in the approval of others. But as we practice this shift, we begin to notice the incredible freedom that comes with it. We become more confident, more self-assured, and more resilient in the face of life's challenges, and we begin to experience the true power of self-love and self-acceptance. The more we focus on our own growth, the more we learn to trust ourselves. We become our own biggest supporter, cheering ourselves on through every success and setback. We no longer seek permission from others to live the life we desire. Instead, we give ourselves the freedom to make choices that align with our values and our vision for our future. And as we continue to grow, we realize that we don't need validation from anyone else to know that we are enough. We are enough simply because we exist, because we are learning, evolving, and becoming the best version of ourselves. Focusing on our own growth and letting go of the need for external validation allows us to live more fulfilling, authentic lives. It gives us the courage to pursue our passions, to make mistakes, and to find happiness from within. It's a journey of self-empowerment, and while it may be challenging at times, the rewards are immeasurable. True strength is often misunderstood. In a world where the loudest voices are often the most recognized, it's easy to think that strength is about being outwardly visible, constantly pushing forward, and never showing vulnerability. But real strength is found in stillness, in the quiet moments where you are able to center yourself and reflect on your true power. It is the ability to remain grounded in the face of adversity, and to trust that you have everything you need within you, even when external circumstances seem chaotic or overwhelming. The noise of the world can often make us believe that strength is about action, achievement, and the ability to conquer every challenge that comes our way. We are told that we must be constantly striving, always achieving, and never showing weakness. But strength is not defined by how much we do or how hard we push ourselves. True strength is about knowing when to pause, when to step back, and when to simply be. It is in these moments of stillness that we connect with our inner strength, that quiet force within us that helps us weather the storms of life. Stillness allows us to cultivate inner peace, which is the foundation of true strength. When we are at peace with ourselves, we can respond to challenges with calm and clarity rather than reacting impulsively or out of fear. We become less affected by the judgments or opinions of others and more attuned to our own inner voice. This inner peace is not something that comes easily. It is something that requires practice, patience, and a commitment to silence. But once we begin to embrace it, we start to realize that this peace is the source of our true strength. In times of struggle, it's easy to get caught up in the external noise, the pressure to perform, the fear of failure, the worry about what others think. But true strength is about being able to rise above the noise and stay true to yourself. It's about trusting that you have the resilience to face whatever comes your way, even when things feel uncertain. It's in those moments of quiet reflection that you realize your strength is not dependent on the approval of others or on external circumstances, but on your ability to trust yourself and stay rooted in your values. Strength is also about vulnerability. We often associate strength with being invincible, with having all the answers and never showing weakness. But true strength is not about hiding our vulnerabilities or pretending to be perfect. It's about accepting our imperfections and allowing ourselves to be human. It's about having the courage to be open, to share our struggles, and to ask for help when we need it. When we embrace our vulnerabilities, we create space for growth and healing. We acknowledge that strength is not about being invulnerable, but about being able to face our challenges with honesty and openness, knowing that we are capable of overcoming them. The power of stillness lies in its ability to connect us with our inner wisdom. In the silence, we begin to hear the voice of intuition, the quiet guidance that leads us in the right direction. This inner wisdom is often drowned out by the noise of everyday life, but when we create space for stillness, we become more attuned to it. This guidance helps us make decisions that align with our true selves, rather than being swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. It helps us stay true to our purpose and navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. Your journey is one of the most personal and sacred things in your life. It is yours to walk, yours to define, and yours to shape. Yet we often find ourselves comparing our journey to others, measuring our progress against what others are doing or where they are in their own lives. The truth is, no two journeys are the same. Each of us is walking a unique path shaped by our experiences, our challenges, and our dreams. It's important to remember that you are not here to follow someone else's footsteps. You are here to create your own. The danger in comparing your journey to others is that it can make you feel as though you are falling short, as though you're not progressing fast enough or achieving enough. Social media, society's expectations, and even well-meaning advice from friends and family can create this pressure. It often seems like everyone else has it all figured out, and you're the only one who is still trying to find your way. But in reality, everyone is on their own path and everyone is moving at their own pace. The timeline of someone else's life is not a reflection of where you should be in yours. Each of us grows and evolves in our own time. It's easy to feel lost when you compare your progress to someone else's. We live in a world that places so much value on speed and instant gratification. We want things to happen quickly and we want to see results fast, but growth, real growth, takes time. It is a slow and steady process that requires patience and consistency. It is not always visible to the outside world, and it often happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching. Your journey may not be as fast or as visible as someone else's, but that doesn't mean it's not meaningful or important. What matters is that you are moving forward, even if it feels like small steps. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. There is beauty in walking your own path, even if it feels like you're taking the long way around. Sometimes the detours, the delays, and the setbacks are where the most valuable lessons are learned. These challenges are not obstacles to your progress. They are opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It's through facing difficulties and overcoming obstacles that we discover who we truly are and what we are capable of. The path may not always be straight, but that's what makes it yours. It is uniquely yours because of the twists and turns, the ups and downs, and the unexpected moments of discovery along the way. You are not here to live someone else's life. You are here to create your own. It is important to honor your journey, no matter how it looks compared to others. We all have different starting points, different backgrounds, and different circumstances. Comparing yourself to someone else's journey is like comparing apples to oranges. It doesn't make sense. Instead of focusing on what others are doing, focus on what you are doing. Celebrate your progress no matter how small it may seem. Your progress is yours to define, and no one else can measure it for you. There will be moments when you feel discouraged, when you question whether you're on the right path or if you're doing enough. In those moments, it's important to remember that your journey is not a race. You don't have to get to the destination in a set amount of time. Life is not about getting to the finish line as quickly as possible. It's about experiencing the journey, learning from it, and growing along the way. Sometimes the most meaningful experiences come not from the destination, but from the journey itself. The lessons learned, the relationships built, and the person you become in the process. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that there's a right way to live, a right way to achieve success. Society often places pressure on us to follow certain milestones, graduate from school, get a job, buy a house, get married, have kids. But the truth is, these milestones aren't the same for everyone. You may not follow the traditional path, and that's okay. Your path might look different, and it might take you in directions that others don't understand, but that doesn't make your journey any less valuable or significant. You don't have to follow the blueprint that others have set for you. You are allowed to create your own blueprint, one that fits your desires, your passions, and your values. It is often those who follow their own unique path who make the biggest impact. It is the people who dare to take a different route, who challenge the norms, and who forge their own way, who create change and inspire others. Your journey is not just about you, it's also about the impact you can have on the world around you. By staying true to yourself and following your own path, you give others permission to do the same. You inspire others to embrace their own uniqueness and to trust their own journey. It's important to let go of the need for validation from others. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you are seeking validation from external sources, but true validation comes from within. When you trust your own journey and honor your own process, you become your own source of validation. You no longer need others to tell you that you're on the right path. You know deep within that you are exactly where you need to be. The external noise may continue, but you will no longer be swayed by it. You will have the confidence to follow your own intuition, knowing that your journey is just as important and valid as anyone else's. Remember that there is no one-size-fits-all path in life. We each have our own experiences, struggles, and triumphs. And while it's natural to look around and wonder if you're where you should be, it's important to remember that your journey is yours alone. It is shaped by your choices, your experiences, and your willingness to grow. The only person you need to compete with is yourself. Focus on your growth, your development, and your progress. Let go of the need to measure your journey against anyone else's. Instead, celebrate how far you've come and trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. There's a profound power in silence that many often overlook. In a world that encourages constant communication, speaking up, and making our voices heard, silence is often seen as something negative or a sign of weakness. Yet silence has a deep strength of its own. It's in the quiet moments when we choose to step back from the noise and the chaos that we often find our truest selves. We discover clarity, strength, and insight that is not available in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Silence is not the absence of words. It is the presence of something deeper, something more profound. In our fast-paced world, we are constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and distractions. Social media, the news, our daily tasks, all of these contribute to a relentless stream of noise. We are encouraged to speak up, to share our opinions, and to be seen. While communication is undeniably important, there is also immense power in knowing when to step back, when to choose silence over words. It's in those moments that we truly connect with ourselves. When we allow ourselves to sit in stillness, to listen to the quiet, we create space for introspection and self-awareness. We give ourselves the chance to understand our feelings, our thoughts, and our desires without the interference of external voices. It is in these moments that we become more in tune with our true selves. Choosing silence doesn't mean we're avoiding the world around us. Rather, it's an intentional act of reconnecting with our inner voice. In silence, we can hear our own thoughts clearly without the noise of others drowning them out. We begin to understand what truly matters to us, what aligns with our values, and what we need in order to grow. In the rush of life, it can be easy to lose sight of these things. We may become so focused on what others want from us or what society expects of us that we forget to check in with ourselves. Silence allows us to cut through the noise and rediscover our priorities. Silence also allows us to cultivate patience, something that is often in short supply in today's world. We are used to instant gratification, messages sent and received in seconds, answers at the click of a button. But not everything in life operates on this timeline. Some things take time to unfold, and silence gives us the opportunity to wait, to be still, and to trust in the process. When we are in a state of constant motion, we are often rushing past the lessons life is trying to teach us. Silence gives us the chance to pause, to reflect, and to recognize the wisdom that is often hidden in the quieter moments. This patience is not just about waiting for external results. It's about being able to trust ourselves, our journey, and the unfolding of life in its own time. One of the most profound aspects of silence is that it can also be a form of strength. In a world that prizes action, talking, and showing up, it can be easy to feel that silence equates to weakness or inactivity. But true strength is not always visible. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do is to remain silent in the face of conflict, to hold our peace when we're tempted to respond in anger or frustration. Silence in this case is not avoidance, but rather a conscious choice to preserve our energy, our calm, and our sense of self. It's about choosing not to engage in every battle or respond to every provocation. In these moments, silence becomes a shield, protecting us from the emotional chaos that can arise when we react impulsively. It's a reminder that we don't have to fight every fight or justify ourselves to everyone. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response we can give. Choosing silence also teaches us how to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. Often we are so focused on speaking, on sharing our thoughts, that we forget to listen to the world around us. We miss out on the wisdom that can be found in the quiet moments of life. By choosing silence, we open ourselves up to hearing and understanding what others are truly saying, what their actions communicate, and what their needs are. Listening is an act of respect, not just for others, but for ourselves. It allows us to absorb information, to process it, and to respond thoughtfully. It's in silence that we learn the value of listening deeply and responding with intention. We also experience the gift of self-reflection. We are able to turn inward, to check in with ourselves and ask the tough questions, questions that might otherwise go unasked in the noise of our daily lives. Who are we? What do we want? What are we afraid of? These questions require time and space to answer, and silence provides the perfect environment for this introspection. It's in the quiet that we are able to confront our fears, our doubts, and our insecurities. We come face to face with ourselves. And in doing so, we have the opportunity to grow, to heal, and to become more self-aware. Silence is not just about the absence of sound. It's about creating space for something deeper. It's about making room for reflection, for listening, and for growth. In a world that often prioritizes action over thought, speaking over listening, silence is a powerful act of reclaiming our own space. It is an intentional choice to tune out the noise and to connect with ourselves on a deeper level. It's a reminder that we don't always need to be doing something or saying something to be valuable. Sometimes the most profound moments of growth come not from what we do, but from what we choose not to do. By embracing silence, we embrace our own strength, our own wisdom, and our own journey.
There's a fire in the distance, and the smoke fills up my lungs. I hear footsteps in the silence, like a war that's yet to come. These fears keep ringing, 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 ringing. These fears keep ringing. The storm is rising in my mind. I taste the ash on my tongue, like a truth I can't outrun. My shadow walks without me, and the night never ends. These doubts keep digging, 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 digging. These doubts keep digging, 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 digging. I feel the weight of the heavy sky, holding my breath as the angels cry. No one sees, but I can't lie. I'll plant my pain where thunder speaks my name again. And if I break alone, but even stone remembers rain. These fears keep ringing.